Houston, we have a problem.
If you watched part 1 of my road trip, you'll remember at the end of the video I discovered as I entered Denmark from Sweden, my Wi-Fi router wasn't working. So stick around and let's see if I actually managed to make things work. Hi there, I'm Nikki. I'm a solo van lifer, a British girl living in Sweden, documenting my travels so that you can see what van life is like. I'm really glad you're here to join me on my journey, so let's go traveling. Today we'll see me testing the ferry in Germany, which is a shortcut over the river Elbe, an estuary near Hamburg, which saves the motorway driving through Hamburg. It didn't actually go according to plan, so stick around and see how things worked out. Let's begin our journey as we leave an overcast Grenå before 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a nice flat landscape, nice roads, and after an hour I stopped for a very glamorous breakfast at a service station, a bowl of cereal. Top tip is to use disposable bowls to save your washing up. When you're doing a long trip like this one, the last thing you want to be doing is any sort of cleaning. After breakfast, sunshine made an appearance and I headed on down the E45, but pretty soon Google sent me cross-country. Construction work seems to be a national pastime of the Danish people. I stopped for a break. Here you can see what nearly all of the service stations look like. They're pretty straightforward, close to the motorway. They always have toilets and very easy to park up. I then continued on to probably the most uneventful border crossing ever as I crossed from Denmark into Germany here. It was back onto single lane roads where I spotted this amazing cool looking cycling pod thingy. I have got no idea what these things are called. Do you know what they're called? Please leave the answer in the comments, it was cool. As you can see, the roads just keep on getting smaller, and I'm now in a town called Oldenswart, where I turn right past the incredibly German-sounding Greek Palace restaurant and head towards the Glückstadt ferry. And this is where I run into the problem. Look at the traffic jam. This is just the traffic waiting to board the ferry, which has of course limited capacity. As far as I could work out, it didn't actually have a timetable during peak hours. It just runs to and fro. It was full all the time. I sat in the queue from 4 o'clock until 4:45, so a 45-minute wait to board the ferry, and I'm thinking, if I had instead chosen to continue on the motorway, okay, maybe I would have got stuck in some traffic around Hamburg, but I'm not really sure this shortcut ended up being a shortcut. Anyway, the cost for the ticket for me and Pam, my van, €13, which I thought is pretty reasonable. This Elbe ferry takes us across the Elbe estuary, and it was a nice scenic route, so at least I got to stretch my legs and see a little bit of the surroundings. As soon as I got off the ferry, I decided it was time to find the closest spot to stop at for the night. Checked out Google and it said to go to a tiny little place called Osten in Germany. I would never have found this place on my own. It's a small little approved parking spot for campers, and it has toilets, which was nice. Well, that's the end of driving for day 2. I started in Grenaa in Denmark, and I've driven down through Denmark, and I'm now in northern Germany. Took a trip on a ferry to save me going through Hamburg, which was nice, but it took quite a long time. I've only done 350 kilometers, which is not that much, but I can't drive anymore now, so I'm having a glass of wine. Cheers. Dinner this evening, it will be some tofu and potatoes that I'm frying up and serving with some salad. One thing I really do like about travelling by van, okay, it takes a lot longer than flying, but you get to see things that you would just never see if you flew from one country to the other. So I think it's time for a story. I have to tell you a story about a couple that are staying in a van next to me. I'm going to see if I can film them. They're so sweet. An old German couple. When I arrived, there was a couple cycling back from, obviously been for just a bike ride around the area, and quite an old man, I'd say 75 at least, on his little bike, and his wife who's disabled, who had the sort of bike that you can attach to a wheelchair. So they came back and they got just the cutest little van. No, it's not a caravan, it's a van. Really, really old, beautiful little thing it is. And then he obviously set up the van when they came back, and then helped her with a wheelchair and helped her into the van, and then lifted his bike up onto the back of the van, and then lifted her wheelchair in. I guess I didn't really see, but oh, just so cute. They've probably been together for 100 years, and sweet. So I'm filming like the back of my van, and I see the guy sitting in the van, but I don't want him to see that I'm filming them. Look at that cute little van, it's just so gorgeous. Sweet. So to recap, what did I learn from day 2 of my travels? Well, the first thing, never trust Google Maps timings. Double them. This journey, supposed to take 5 hours, ended up taking almost 10. Number 2, Danish people love road maintenance. Okay, not maybe Danish people, but Danes do a lot of road maintenance. Every single time I've ever driven through Denmark, on the motorways, always road maintenance. So if you are driving through Denmark, please factor that into your journey calculations. Number 3, I will say that Google is very good for finding these small little park-ups that you would just never find on your own, so thanks for that, Google. And finally, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I was worried about my little Wi-Fi thing not working. Well, that turned out not to be a problem. I used my mobile data and Google Maps worked fine and everything was hunky-dory, so that was great. That's the end of day 2. Make sure you join me on day 3. I'll be visiting the grave of my late great uncle, who was killed during the Second World War and is buried in Holland, together with his other crew members from his plane. And then I shall be heading towards the UK and seeing if I manage to drive on the left-hand side of the road with a right-hand drive. As always, I hope this video has given you some value. If it has, I would really appreciate if you could like it, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel. It really does mean a lot to me, and of course, it's completely free of charge for you. Wishing you safe travels, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye! bye.